Ireland has seen division for generations. Catholics, Protestants, politics, and pain. But now the gospel's doing what nothing else ever could. It's bringing peace. Today we're talking about what it looks like for us to go to the ends of the earth. Every people, every culture, every corner of the map. Join us as we talk about it.
Welcome to the Morning Manna Podcast. You're invited to the table for real conversations about faith, culture, and the everyday pursuit of loving God, loving each other, and loving the world around us.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Morning Manna Podcast. We're so glad you're tuning in, and we're excited because today we're talking about The Rock, the Reach Out celebration. We've got so much for you, but first, as always, I am your host, Nick Ertel, and today we've got our lead pastor, Chris Fletcher.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Can you smell it? Come on now.
Oh, man.
I love it. And we've also got our pastor of outreach and missions, Jordan Gill.
It is I.
Yeah, good to have you here. And then we have a very special guest. We have Pastor Gary Bolton from Ireland for Jesus. Excited to have you.
Delighted to be here.
Oh, my, is that a Scottish accent I'm picking up?
Oh my gosh.
No.
These Americans, they don't know their accents.
Yeah.
That's right. That's good. Well, we've got a lot planned for this episode. We're going to get into what Ireland for Jesus is all about, your backstory, your social security number.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have those in Northern Ireland. I don't know.
It's called the National Insurance Number.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well,
A nin.
yeah, we're going
Everything
to get
over
in
there
there.
sounds classier.
That's
Yeah.
it. But first, we are going to start with an icebreaker. So, producer Bryson, what do you got?
Hey, Nick, I'm ready. You asked everyone else before we started filming if they're ready. You
I
did
don't-
not ask me, but I am ready.
I just don't care
want
as
you to
much.
know. Okay, perfect. Well, today we're starting off with what has now become a reoccurring segment. We're going to call it the Manna Minute. So what I'm going to do, Gary, this is just between you and I. So I'm going to ask you a ton of questions and a very...
Go easy on me now.
I get one. Wow.
I will
what
try.
a-
It's not trivia. It's just your gut reaction opinion.
Come on.
And then these fellas right here are going to use these little signs to see if they approve or disapprove of your answers.
Oh.
And when we're done and supposed to hand these back in to Nick, I'm not going to.
And he'll
so
play
for the
with it
rest
for
of the
the rest of the
episode.
episode.
If you
Because
say
he's a
something I don't
toddler.
like, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say like it, love it, wants more of it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
sort
if
of
we
like
get to eschatology. He'll have some strong opinions.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not sure what's coming.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna
The goal is to get through this fast, yeah?
very quickly, yeah. And they should. They're,
stop trying to be in charge, Nick.
Yeah,
I'm
Just roll with it.
clarifying.
Bryson,
Hey, Nick, thank you for supporting me.
Do your one thing.
Yeah, do my one thing.
Stay out
I've
of
been given
Bryson's hair.
one thing.
stay out of
That's what I'm
Bryson's
gonna
hair.
do.
He has some.
Gary, are you ready? Are you ready for me to?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm ready, but I have to go.
That's true.
I have to roll with it.
You're here
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you have no other choice.
I approve of that answer.
All right, so I'll start the timer right after I ask the first question, and I believe there's 22 questions.
Ooh.
It's fine. It's easy questions. Just give it your best shot. All right. First question is, what is a place you haven't been to but want to go to?
North Dakota.
Okay.
Oh,
Books or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
Speed for audiobooks.
Normal speed.
Wow.
no,
imagine that.
no, wrong answer, Gary.
Old Testament
Wrong
or New
answer.
Testament?
New Testament.
Shepherd's pie or fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
Who is your favorite superhero?
Superman.
Okay, which American church is your favorite to visit?
Manna.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a guy. He got that one.
There we go.
Right away.
American football or proper football?
Oh, proper football every day.
All right,
Football.
Proper football or rugby?
Oh, proper football.
All right. What is your youngest daughter's birthday?
Oh, wow. You do know I have 7 kids.
I do know that you have
I gotta be honest. 21st of June.
There you go. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg.
What's your lowest score in golf?
Don't lie, Gary.
6 over par.
That's better than I would do.
Wow.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Nope.
Ooh, no.
Nope.
Most underrated thing about Ireland?
Oh, most underrated thing about Ireland. The Guinness.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
What's your favorite genre of music?
Contemporary Christian music.
All right.
Love him.
Aisle seat or window seat?
Aisle seat.
Chris Fletcher or Nick Ertel?
Come on.
Chris Fletcher.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Which of,
That was the right answer.
which of your 7 children are your favorite?
Oh, my gosh. Right answer, Gary.
He said they already
Shake
know.
your head.
They
That's
I
already
don't have
know.
a favorite.
What's the weirdest thing that Americans do?
Oh, they talk too loud.
Okay. On a scale of
No, no,
Yeah, that's
I disagree with
Nope.
that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much better of a team is Manchester United over Everton?
Oh, 5.
Oh, okay.
False.
You did it. A minute and 50 seconds.
Wow.
Wow. That was great.
I feel relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did great. There was some zingers in there that I was very impressed by.
The look that came right here in your eyes when we asked you your youngest child's birthday.
Oh, dear, man.
I'm gonna watch that one
It's
back.
the youngest.
That's
Yeah.
good TV.
I just want to let you know, I asked Nick, should I do this question? He said, "Oh, absolutely."
Yeah, well, you know what it's like when you have 7 kids. You
Oh,
hit
that's
it by number
absolutely-
4. And
Well,
it's like,
Andy's asking all these opinion-based questions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then he gets to this fact.
I'm happy with my performance.
I think you did
I think I
fantastic.
did all right. Yeah.
But
good.
you said Ronaldo? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah.
I
No.
just disagree with that.
What do you think?
Messi.
Yeah, has to be.
He wins the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wins the World Cup.
I just
And
what?
just
Why?
anyway.
Why Ronaldo over Messi?
That's what the kids
I
are
just
saying
think
these days.
his all-round ability. I mean, I love the way he leaps. His ability to head the ball, for example, that Messi doesn't have.
He doesn't. That's true.
So-
That's true.
Yeah. Well,
That's true.
if anything, you chose right. Chris Fletcher over Nick Ertel. So well
Yeah,
done.
that's right. That's the
We
question.
knew that was coming.
That was
Yeah.
the key
I
one.
was that was a really key question.
Also, I'd like to point out, you said your favorite American church to visit was Manna, and that was a quick answer.
Yeah, that
He was ready.
like
That
that
was
was
you seemed loaded,
that
and
was
I love that.
top PR.
Even if it's
stuff,
not
yeah.
true, I appreciate you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
answering that quick.
Take that, rest of America.
Yeah. This was actually one question I forgot to put in here.
Oh,
What
dear.
is your favorite American state to visit?
Ooh,
Because you've been all over.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
been to
I have.
a lot
Yeah,
of
I've been to a lot of states.
everywhere,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I got to say North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your honest answer?
Yeah.
You could say.
I mean, we do have a little bit of everything.
Don't-
we got the
yeah,
mountains,
don't sleep.
the beach.
Colorado.
Yeah,
was
don't
about to say-
sleep, man. Don't sleep on us. Colorado don't have a beat. Get off of me, Denver lover. Colorado does not have
Denver
Colorado is
Broncos.
beautiful.
Yeah.
7 wins in a row. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Manna
Anyway.
Church
Change the
line,
subject.
All right.
always a good
I
time.
can't handle
Comment down
Birthplace
below
of Chipotle.
stop it. Comment down below which of Gary's answers are your favorite, what stuck out to you, or if you have some vehement disagreements, we'd love to see them in the comments as well. And we'll choose one next week to shout out. And speaking of top,
He won't be here to defend himself, but comment about Gary all you'd like. We'll talk about him.
We'll
Behind his
talk
back.
about him. Yeah, perfect. Well, it'll be on air. He can watch it.
I'll watch it back. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He'll comment back. How about that?
And then top.
Ooh,
Ooh, that
In an Irish accent.
an Irish fight in the comments. I love it.
Our top comment of last week, we talked about the big three, and Pastor Carlo actually talked about his weightlifting big three. His bench is 285, his squat is 455, and his deadlift is 500 pounds.
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's the one that I'm like, all right, you're getting after it, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's pretty impressive.
That was Dr.
Feed the
Carlo.
wolf.
Yeah.
He's not.
That's his
He's
PB?
not a joke.
no,
Yeah, no, I know.
He's no
a strong
no
guy.
joke. He's a strong dude.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I would never
Never.
question
Well,
that.
and
No,
he
never.
and he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
his
So
My idea with Carlo is I just need to be faster than him. I just have to. I have to be fit enough
Run.
to run away.
if he gets his hands on you, you're done.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Toast. Right.
Yeah.
So I just. Yeah.
there you go.
You'll notice even on the podcast, I always try to keep a little distance in between in case I have to. I mean, I've got.
smart?
Just
Yeah.
in case, closer
Well,
to the
I
door.
could shove the door. I could shove the chair. So
Yeah, at him.
trip him up, at him, and then I
goes
just got to
for the
run.
door.
Yeah.
Well, you have better survival instincts than your brother because Sam decided to insult bald people sitting between Nick and Carlo,
Yeah.
and it was like, dude, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well,
it was
you
very
know,
understandable.
Sam's the baby, so mom doesn't know his birth date either. So he's just sort of along for the ride. You know what I mean?
That's good. Hey, and here's the thing: we have a special episode coming up soon for the Manna Mailbag. There it is. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna have the entire episode where we're answering the questions you asked. So ask us anything. It could be anything. Like it could be how much product does Chris use in his hair, or where did Adam's wife come from? You know, anything like
Or
that.
how
It
much
could be-
product does Nick use in his hair?
Okay, well that's an easy one.
The answer. may
No, it's not.
surprise you.
I bet you spend longer on your dome than I do.
I just quickly shave it, and that's it. It's pretty easy to maintain. Anyway, so ask us anything. It could be about the Bible, life, ministry, or something else, but we will answer your questions.
I've got a lot of questions for you.
Do you?
I do.
Well, you can submit them down below in the comment section down below. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. But let's jump into the meat and potatoes. We're going to jump into these questions. If you haven't been tracking along with us, we are in the midst of this series called the Reach Out Celebration. We call it The Rock, and every year we like to celebrate what God has done through Manna Church. We talk about our outreach and our mission strategy. We celebrate what's happened over the last year, and then we look to the following year and we talk about what we want to accomplish. And so this year our theme is Go. And so Pastor Chris, I want to start with you. How does this theme of Go apply to international strategy? I mean, 2 weeks ago we talked about local, and then last week we talked about domestic. But now that we're talking about international this week, how does that theme of Go apply?
So I think it applies the way it's always applied, and that is that I feel really strongly that what the Bible teaches us is that Jesus left his church with a mission, and that applies in 3 places, and that's not actually listed on it. So our text for this series is Matthew 28.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of putting that and Acts chapter 1 verse 8 together because that gives us the where to the what we're supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about go. I believe every believer, if Jesus is your Lord and Savior, even if he's not yet, you have a go. Every single one of us has a go. And I think that applies in 3 places. I think it applies to Jerusalem. That's your where you are, you're here. That's your Judea, Samaria, wherever your influence is. And that is, I mean, he quite clearly states in Matthew 28, to the ends of the earth. It is our job to be about the advance of the kingdom, declaring the rule and reign of King Jesus wherever the sole of our foot treads.
Yeah.
And lucky for me, it's gotten tread in beautiful places like Ireland.
Yes.
So we're about, I said this in the message, we are about finding and connecting to local churches, church planters, because we want to introduce people to Jesus, but at the same time we want to connect them to the life and the community of the local church, because that's where the discipleship process, life on life, walks itself out. And so that's how that connects in our international strategy. Our international strategy is the same as our local strategy, same as our regional strategy. Plant churches, work with church planters, introduce people to Jesus, and walk.
And we've got a number of ministry partners that are international, and we're happy to have Pastor Gary with us today. Well, in fact, we're going to dive deep into that in just a second. But before we do, I actually want to ask, we've also got Pastor Jordan Gill with us.
Honored to be here.
You are the pastor of outreach and missions here.
Thank you.
I thought it'd be appropriate to start with you. Let's talk about the philosophy of how we go about short-term missions trips. How do we go about short-term missions trips, and what's our goal on those trips?
Philosophy.
I want to hear your philosophy, Jordan. Tell me.
I'm excited. Yeah, philosophy. I think a good place to start is with a definition. So a lot of people ask, what is missions? And I have a personal definition. I'd love to hear what y'all's take on it. Like what defines missions? So I would define missions as any ministry that does not directly impact or benefit your local church, right? So then I would say that's outreach. Now you could say there's missional outreach, and then we do have local ministry partners.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
So ministry, and so you apply that.
But even in the local context, I mean, I can tell you with a completely clear conscience, I do not step out the door to engage in outreach with the idea that this is going to build the numbers of people sitting in a local church service.
That is a good distinction. So
that is not what enters.
Probably the wrong word.
That is not what enters my mind. What enters my mind is I want to meet people where they are. I want to respond to whatever felt need they have to get across the bridge to Jesus loves you and has a plan for your life.
That's a very important distinction. Yeah. So I would reframe it, maybe not necessarily as benefit, but like when we're doing local outreach, we're introducing people to Jesus and we're inviting them into local church fellowship.
Sure.
So whereas when we're doing missions, we are not the star, right? We are there to empower the local church, local ministry, the local person or organization, and work by, with, and through them. So I would offer that as a definition for missions. And then some philosophy specifically behind short-term missions. So I think we're looking at 2 things. We're looking at fruit downrange. So how is this impactful wherever we're going? And then also fruit back here. So how is this trip going to build up our congregation? And I tell our team, everything we do should tie back into Manna's mission, which is to glorify God by equipping people to change their worlds and planting churches with world-changing vision. So that's kind of the 2 things we're looking at.
It's the 2 sides. I talk about it with local as well. It's the 2-sided coin of every outreach. Every outreach has 2 sides to it. It is the person who's receiving whatever outreach is being done. At the same time, I desperately don't want to miss that opportunity for God to shape something in my life. My faith action results in change in me every time. So we're always looking to capitalize on that. Yeah. And like I said in the message, you're going to notice throughout this conversation, we vibe with Gary. It's not that we don't vibe with other people. We do. We enjoy each other.
Right.
I've met his wife. I've met his kids. We're cool. And so because of that, we want to do ministry together, because that's what I'm always going on about, this idea of community. We may not live in the same time zone, but we text about text about the real football all the time. We live in actual community, which is what I believe the gospel's teaching us. And
so I'm hearing you talk about evangelism, but also partnering with the local church.
Absolutely.
And I think that's interesting because some people may be watching, they have a thought of what short-term missions is in their context, or maybe they've seen it done a different way. But ultimately, what we're saying is we're trying to partner with the local church, wherever it is, whatever country.
It's a way to go on Christian vacations.
Don't get me started. I have family who've been on those, and like it ruined the idea of short-term missions for them. They won't go on any anymore.
Because that's their concept of what short-term missions are. Okay, so maybe let's look at it from the other angle then. What pitfalls are we trying to avoid? What are the things that we're not looking to do on a short-term missions trip?
Good question, Nick.
So we're never going to go somewhere where we haven't vetted the partner. So, you look at our SERVE acronym, our definition of leadership. We value relationships and results. So we really want to know whoever we're going to go serve alongside.
That's right. That's good.
So I would say that is one pitfall. Jumping into something where you don't really understand the person or the ministry or the context. Two, we really want to ensure that we're going there for a purpose that moves the ball forward. And if it's something that ministry partner could do better, then we'd rather just empower them and support them, probably through financial support. So one of the things I really respected about you, Gary, was we asked, hey, we'd love to partner with you, not just financially, but is there the opportunity for short-term missions this year? And you had said, we're not ready. So I really respect that when ministry partners say, hey, I know you'd love to be over here serving alongside us in this season. We're not ready for it. So we're looking for places, areas, contexts where, all right, there's some piece that they're missing where we can bring something to the table. Yeah. It was a question I had on my first Filter of Hope pilot trip. We can go ahead and get into that if we want to.
Sure.
I was a little skeptical because I was like, who doesn't have clean water? And that just betrays my own ignorance. But going there and sitting in that first house visit and the team's explaining to this woman how the water filter works, and I'm still a little skeptical. And then I see her just start to break down crying. And I ask, I'm like, why is she crying? And she explains, you don't understand. My 8-year-old kid has been sick every single day of his life because we don't have access to clean water. And I know that changes today. I was like, oh my. So now I'm crying. And then we get to the gospel and her face lights up and she's like, all right, I thought this was important. Like, now I know that I get to be free and my family gets to be free.
Yeah.
And so to tie it all back to, what do we bring to the table? I was talking with the country leads later that day. I was like, why do you need us? Why don't you guys just do this? And they said, Jordan, because of communism and the lingering effects of it, a lot of Cubans don't trust each other, but they will trust you. They'll trust an American who flew all the way over here just to talk about the gospel. Yeah. So we look for opportunities. All right. We look for people who are killing it, who are crushing it, who are getting after advancing God's kingdom, and they need just a little bit of help or assistance or empowerment somewhere. All right. That was a long monologue. As you can tell, I don't care a whole lot about this.
I think Pastor Chris has a question.
It's not a question. I've had some conversation with people trying to get down to the philosophy of, so why would you partner with an organization like Filter of Hope?
Yeah.
That is the answer to the question. Because I can take people who are in the discipleship journey here in Manna Church in Fayetteville, and I can put them directly on the ground where their faith can be put into action and they can see the result of the gospel presented with real effect right there. It's shortening the distance. So challenge for people out there doing ministry. The closer that you can get people to power, empower them to actually step out in their faith and see that actually start to happen, you will find things changing in people's lives. Yeah. Absolutely. So you go, why have you gone you went 0 to 60 with Filter of Hope. And we've got this in this country and that country. And all of a sudden you went 0 to 60 on Filter of Hope. That's the answer. There was the video last year in The Rock with the team that were smashing. Oh, yeah. They were smashing the idols.
Denouncing idols, throwing them in the trash.
So I got to be a part of leading, not to go over there, but I got to be a part of leading the team that created the atmosphere for those people to get on a plane and then go action their faith where they bumped squarely into the forces of darkness and evil.
Yep.
They watched the power of Jesus remove the scales from these people's eyes.
Yep.
And they smashed their idols, renounced their idols, and worshiped Jesus as king. And I mean, you can't fake that.
Right.
You can't show a video of that. You can't pay money for that. You can't you can't. I want people to see themselves the way that Jesus sees them.
Yeah.
I want them to see themselves as agents of the kingdom of God, known in heaven, feared in hell, and actually going, man, if I live this faith out, this faith in Jesus that's changed the world completely, the world's on its head because of Jesus, I want to see them walk that out. So why would you go all in on that? That's why.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you talk about some things that we focus on, maybe some things that we don't focus on. Like I've heard you talk about before, hey, and I'm not bashing anyone who may go about short-term missions this way, but for us, we're not going to send a team necessarily to paint a wall or build a house.
Can I clarify that real quick?
Sure.
This is a lot of conversation right here. Let's clarify real quick conversations that we've had. We are not telling everyone that the way that they're doing missions is wrong.
Right. We're explaining
this
what we're
conversation
doing.
is explaining what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's a good clarifier.
So I'm not saying that to rile you up if you're watching or you're trying to figure out why do they do. I'm trying to tell you everything that's in my head so you know what I'm about, so you can choose wisely. Now, I don't agree with how they do missions. I don't want to do it with them. No problem.
Right. And so I've heard along those lines, I've heard you say like, hey, we're not going to send a team of 15 people across the world so we can, build a house or paint a wall or whatever that may be.
30th time.
For the 30th time. And I think
And
it
then
may
spend
be
4 days on
helpful.
the beach.
Brush over the
But talk
team
about the
before them.
logistics of that and ultimately what we're trying to accomplish. Why would you make that decision?
Yeah. So we have said yes to some projects that were building centered. If we talked with a ministry partner and they said, this is a critical step in us moving the ball forward in whatever our strategic aim is. Pun not intended, but a good example of that is AIM. So they were establishing an outpost in Belize, literally, and I don't want to steal your thunder here, so maybe I shouldn't tell this story. In order for them to move the ball forward in a critical area, like all they really needed was a building. So it was like, all right, that will be the mission, not necessarily evangelism, but it's a missional project that is going to create.
That's an outlier, though.
You didn't steal thunder. I'll tell that story better than you just did right there. So it's fine.
There you go.
For the most part.
Well, I got worked up, and then I was like, Chris is going to talk about it. Yeah.
But I think the point is, if we're going to send a team of 15 people across the world and it's going to cost all that money to get the plane tickets and all of the things.
100%. We're having the conversation with ministry partners. Is it better to just invest in you financially, or do we actually bring something to
There
the
we
table?
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if we are going to
Realize
bring a
that.
team, we're going to bring a team to do the thing
Absolutely.
that like we couldn't just send money to do.
Yep.
So, yeah, excellent. So can you talk about some of the countries that we went to this past year, 2025? Where have we been, and maybe some of the organizations that we've partnered along with?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a number of trips with Filter of Hope, primarily in Central and South America. So we were in Cuba, we were in Panama, we were in Colombia. Where else? Dominican Republic. I led that trip. That was a good time. We were also partnered with the Indigenous Community Empowerment Network. It's a long. IceNet is the acronym. But so we were at Pine Ridge, South Dakota.
Yes.
Yep, working with Diane down there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleeper state. If you've never been south of North Dakota, America is a beautiful place, and those two are particularly.
Gary, that's where you said you wanted to go.
I chose
North
North
Dakota.
Dakota.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Come on.
Beautiful.
And then we're always going to be partnered with the Los Angeles Dream Center, right? They're doing incredible things down there with both the homeless population, people who are just experiencing food insecurity.
Yep.
So the way they do things are people coming back, not just working at the Dream Center, but also the way they use every aspect of what they're doing as witness, as testimony.
Yeah.
I think every lane can benefit from just seeing how they do ministry. And so I actually recommend Manna Kids to go on an LADC, people who serve in Manna Kids, because their kids jam, how they present the gospel to 10 and 11-year-olds, it's probably the best I've ever seen it done. So
That's a grace on the Barnett family that's spilled over into the team. They're just
for generations.
for generations.
you can definitely see an anointing and a blessing over
Yeah.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
So you talked about partnering with Filter of Hope. What were some of the countries that we went to with them?
Yeah, so I think I just named them, but Panama.
Did you name all of them?
He did.
I thought you. Okay.
Yeah, Panama, Cuba, Dominican Republic. Yeah, you got me.
So
Another
just
one.
maybe like
bunch.
a
Colombia.
a quick commercial for the people who are
Other
watching.
places.
If they hear that and they say, "Man, this sounds interesting," what do you do when you're there?
Yeah.
We're not just turning this into a vacation in the DR, the Dominican
are not.
Republic. Like, what are the types of things that we're doing?
Yeah. So again, we're always going to be partnered and working by, with, and through the local church. It's one of the things I love about Filter of Hope is they share our emphasis on finding that person or that place or that church of peace where there's evidence of fruit of the Holy Spirit, where there's kingdom momentum. And they, again, have that posture of we want to empower you. And so day to day, a Filter of Hope trip looks like you're going to spend time in a worship service with that local church. You're going to get to know them. You're going to understand the context. And then you're going out in teams of 4 with a translator and a member of that local church. You're making house visits at houses that have already been predetermined, prayed over by the church, identified as in need of clean water, and ready for at least hearing the gospel. So you're going to present that filter to them, explain how it works, and then you're going to share the gospel with them. And the filters, they're gravity fed, so they don't require electricity. They can handle up to 200 gallons of water a day. They can last for up to 10 years if they're cleaned and maintained properly. So they really are phenomenal items on their own, but they are really just the mechanism to get us in the door and advance God's kingdom, share his truth, his hope.
Now, I know we're sharing tons of stories throughout the Reach Out celebration. We've got
stories.
video announcements. We're talking about them in messages, but there's also, we have so many stories that we couldn't fit them all
We could not.
in the message. So do you have any stories you want to share with us right now that didn't make the cut necessarily, but people got to hear it?
Yeah, I'll share a couple. One is just generally one of my favorite moments of short-term missions trips is watching people who have never shared their faith before step forward and do it and realize. You just see the light in their eyes. They're like, it's so easy.
What
They're like,
he
I could do this.
said,
I
what
could do
he
this at home.
said.
I could do this with the dude
Yes.
or gal sitting next to me on the plane on the ride back.
Yes.
We've had bus drivers who were driving our teams back to the airport get brought to Jesus. We've had people in layovers who were crying or looking depressed, and Gladys or one of our other team members walked over to them and was like, you look down, just tell me your story. Can I tell you about Jesus? And bring them to Jesus right then and there. So that there were dozens, if not hundreds of those moments this year where people who had never shared before realized, oh, this is so easy and I can do it anywhere.
That's why I say every believer has a go.
Yeah.
And when you take the step, it's amazing what God does.
Yeah, you don't have to get on a plane and make sure you're in that specific location before I can start to decide to be an agent of the kingdom.
You don't have to study up, and you don't have to have your greatest theological polemic, and you don't have to have your eschatology all in a row. You need to start walking.
That's it.
Start moving. Jesus commissioned the doubters up there on that hillside.
That's good.
And the faithless and the liars, and just go.
Yeah. Good.
Go on, you scummy Nick.
Yeah, to that point, the idea of you can do it anywhere, anytime. I was in the back of an ambulance escorting someone else just a couple of nights ago, and that person's fine. It all got cleared up. But it felt like an attack of the enemy. It felt like he was trying to pull me away from some of the planning we were doing. And I was just sitting there praying, and I was getting angry. And I was like, the enemy's trying to scare me, distract me. I was like, you know what? We're forget defense. We're going on offense. So I looked at the two paramedics, asked them for their life story, and it was like, we're sharing the gospel right here and right now. Yeah, we got an hour ride to UNC. Like, both of you are going to hear about Jesus.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, no matter the context.
I love that.
And that's what short-term missions done right produces, is people who are confident in their faith,
on mission,
who can boldly, clearly, concisely, compellingly share anytime, any place.
Jordan, you don't sound like a kid that grew up living your life in the United States. You're so passionate about this missions thing.
You grew up as a missions kid, huh?
Why are you so passionate about this?
I feel like I've told that story before, though.
Okay, well, you haven't told it to the new audience from South Africa.
Do you want like the 30-second version?
I prefer the 3-second version.
The 3-second version. My parents were missionaries in Bulgaria.
There you go.
That's where I grew up.
Yep.
There you go.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was close to 3 seconds.
That was
you did a pretty good job.
That was pretty good.
Close as we're going to get from you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now listen,
I can share two stories.
We've got a guest here, but
That's right.
Jordan wants to make it all about himself. Let's talk to the Irish.
Yeah, speaking of being on mission, that's what you guys are all about.
Absolutely.
You founded Ireland for Jesus.
I did.
So, but before we get to Ireland for Jesus, I mean, Pastor Gary, you are a husband, a father of 7, as we talked about earlier.
I can remember all 7 of their birthdays. What do you think of that?
Hey, that's...
For those of you that skipped
See
the beginning of the episode, wind back. He's a confident man now, but he was he was slightly less confident about 12 minutes ago.
True.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you're a pastor, you're a church planter, you partner with church planters, and you founded Ireland for Jesus.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, what is Ireland for Jesus all about?
Well, we're about bringing about gospel transformation across the island of Ireland, specifically connected into church planting. and going where there's no churches, no believers, pioneering a way where there seems to be no way. That's what we're all about.
It's very similar to our Multiply movement. I drew that connection in a video announcement that we recently played. But the idea is, we want to make it hard to go to hell from planet Earth. And one of our strategies, and we agree with you on this, is how do you make disciples in a new place? Plant a church.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. What made you want to start Ireland for Jesus?
Well, over the years, I've been in ministry for about 25 years, and I just discerned an increasing desire for the entire island of Ireland. I grew up in the northern part of the island, but just as year by year went by in ministry, God just continually increased the desire for the entire nation. And he prepared me for that and put me through his school.
Yeah.
Some tests, some trials, connected me to the right people. And in April 2020, you remember that thing called COVID?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, during COVID.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
Did y'all miss that? Oh, man.
Coronavirus?
Yes, there it is.
Oh, the
masks.
YouTube censors are going crazy.
I was standing on a famous bridge right down the centre of Belfast, right where the Titanic ship was built. And I got a very distinct call from the Lord to spearhead an organisation that would help bring gospel transformation to the whole island of Ireland.
Wow.
Now, for the Americans who are watching, many of them may not realize that Northern Ireland is a different country than than the Republic of Ireland, correct? So maybe first let's start with, what are some misconceptions that Americans may have about Ireland?
Well, I think that's one of them.
That's probably the biggest
As
one.
I travel around the US, the number of people who don't understand that there are actually two separate countries on the island of Ireland. Very, very controversial. We'll get into that in a little bit. Some other misconceptions. That corned beef and cabbage is a traditional Irish meal.
Oh my!
I mean, man,
Is that American Irish?
oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? I
there
tell
you
you
go.
a quick story.
yeah.
I visited the church here in the US. They put on a special Irish day for us.
Corned
They
beef
put
and
on
cabbage.
they put on a special Irish meal. It was the first time that I ever tasted corned beef and cabbage. They put it on specifically for me.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
so what is your favorite
treat.
traditional Irish meal?
Fish and chips, hands down.
There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
But now, when I came to visit you,
Yeah.
you showed me this thing called was it a boxy?
Boxty. This guy
I'd
likes
say-
a boxty.
I'd say
Yeah.
Boxty.
Boxty is a
Boxty's
good time.
close second.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell the good people, what is a boxty?
Jordan Gill, it's your favorite. What is a boxty?
I don't know how to describe it. I feel
It's
like you would do
it's a savory
better
it's a
justice.
savory potato pancake.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That
it's
was
like
pretty good,
potato
actually,
stuffed
yeah.
with
Yeah, but there's
potato.
a lot
and
of
Yeah,
fry
and
in
you
there.
choose your filling, your meat.
And you fry,
Veggies
and
in
you
there.
fry it up and
Yeah.
then cover it with gravy.
It
And
is not
yeah.
good for you.
As
but
my
it is
grandmother would
delicious.
say,
It's good.
it
It's
sticks
good
to the ribs. You know what I mean? Like it'll last you if you gotta
That's
be out in
awesome.
the cold.
I love it. Okay, so we've got some misconceptions that Americans may have about Ireland and Northern Ireland and all of that. But in all seriousness, there is a dark past, a history with the 30 Years of Troubles. Do you mind just explaining some of the cultural, historical background with that?
Yeah, well, Ireland was a British colony up until 1921. Ireland gained its liberty from Britain. And there were a group of people who identified as Protestants up in the northern part of the island, and they wanted to remain under British rule. So there was an agreement formed with the Irish government that 6 out of the 32 counties of Ireland would form a new country called Northern Ireland. So there's 26 counties in the Republic of Ireland and 6 counties that make up Northern Ireland. And that has been very, very controversial over the last 100 years.
Okay.
That's how Northern Ireland came to be.
And so can you explain when we talk about the 30 Years of Troubles?
Yeah.
Because that plays a really big factor into your ministry and how you're asking the Lord to heal your nation and what God has you doing. So I feel like people watching, they need to have this context in order to understand the seriousness of what you're doing. So can you explain what's the 30 Years of Troubles?
Sure. Well, I grew up in Belfast. I'm a Belfast boy.
Okay.
And while the Troubles impacted the Republic of Ireland, they were specifically connected to the northern part of the island. By the way, there's 2 million people reside in the northern part of the island and 5 million in the south. So when these 6 counties were separated off from the other 26, there was immediate tension. And in the late 1960s, that tension boiled over. and violence broke out on the streets between Catholics and Protestants. And the British government brought the British Army in. That fueled things even more. And for 30 years, there was hardly a week went by in Northern Ireland when there wasn't someone murdered.
Wow.
By paramilitary groups.
Now, when you say, I'm sorry,
when you say Catholics,
that's
and
what I was gonna
Protestants,
ask.
Yeah.
you're not talking necessarily about church Catholic fighting church Protestant. It's really more.
Yeah, more political, more tribal.
Yeah.
Americans
Yeah.
hear that and they think religion.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily.
No, I mean, I think that even the modern day tensions, even in the northern part of Ireland, and when somebody says they're Protestant, what they're really saying is they identify as being British.
I was going to say because so we were there very short time ago, and I spoke to some church planters, and they were super generous. But
Yeah.
I made one comment. You remember when I said something about the Irish folk, and I spoke to all of them, and
Yes.
one of them raised his hand and said, "Now, if you'd said that where I am, the congregation would have responded, 'We're not Irish, we're British.'"
Yes, yes, it's something that Americans, when they visit, they find it really strange that when they go up to the northern part of the island,
Yeah.
that in certain areas there's people flying the British flag,
British
and
flag,
people
yeah.
I thought I was in Ireland, but 50% of the people in Northern Ireland identify as Protestant, and really what they mean is they identify as being British,
Yeah.
and the other 50% identify as being Catholic, but what they're really saying is they identify as being Irish. So it's just Irish, British.
Yeah.
So when you hear Catholic Protestant in the northern part of the island, it's really a British-Irish conflict going on there. Really, the troubles were all connected to who had a right to that northern territory. And the people who identify as Irish, they want those 6 counties back under Irish rule. The people who identify as Protestant British, they want to be under UK rule. So, for example, when we took these guys here, we went into certain areas in inner city Belfast. There's huge big murals of King Charles and the British flags flying, and it can be a little bit strange to those who don't understand the history and the culture.
Yep.
So that went on for 30 years, tit for tat murder,
Right.
a lot of pain, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of division, and still exists today, a lot of those divisions.
I mean, so much so that, on one side you've got miles per hour, on the other side you've got
That's right.
kilometers.
Well, that's more the north-south divide.
right?
Yeah.
So all of
Even the currency.
Yeah, all of Northern Ireland is miles per hour. Southern Ireland is kilometers per hour. Different currency. The southern part of the island's on the euro. We're in the northern part. We're on the Great British Pound, and it goes on and on. Different government, different school system. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Gary, I felt I was surprised that some of the stuff like peace, they still have
Peace walls.
peace wall, but they
Yes.
still close in Belfast. They
Yes.
still close some of the walls at some of the gates at night
Yeah.
and not let people through. I expected, because I'm not finger on the pulse necessarily, but I've known it was not news to me, the whole issue of the Troubles, etc. I was a bit struck by what felt like a real, genuine yearning for something that was real when I was in Ireland.
Yes.
It felt as if the ground is really ripe. Can I say ripe for revival?
Yeah, I agree.
It really felt that way. And can you talk about just what you feel like is the appetite of people that you meet about?
Well, I think that people have had their fill, of hurt and pain and violence. They want to move on. They're seeking for something real. They're seeking healing.
yeah.
Often when people come to Belfast and they spend some time there, they can see a heaviness on the people's faces. They're seeking a new way of life. They're seeking
Yeah.
hope. That's why we called our organization Ireland for Jesus. As people often ask us, is it a Protestant thing? Is it a Catholic thing?
Yeah.
We say this is a Jesus thing.
Come on.
There we go.
And
Yeah.
nothing brings us more joy
Yeah.
in our lives in ministry to see both Protestants and Catholics, people who identify on one side as British, others who identify as Irish, worshiping King Jesus
Yeah.
under his banner, under his
right.
lordship.
That's right.
And, people are entitled to their political viewpoints and convictions, but really people are seeking after Jesus, not religion. A lot of people across Ireland, they're done with religion, but they're seeking the reality of a relationship with the risen Lord Jesus Christ. Something transformational.
That's
something that touches the deepest parts of who they are.
That's a bit what I mean. Here in America, we might think a certain way about denominations and denominational, traditional churches, but meeting the church planters and even those that are doing the revitalization work amongst already planted churches, there's a real excitement and hunger and openness. We went to that one town and we're meeting with the folk, and it was like that. This feels really alive.
Yeah. Especially folks, a lot of folks who brought up more in the Catholic communities.
Yeah.
Even the whole concept of a relationship with God.
It's so foreign.
Yeah, they're really intrigued by that. And even people receiving a copy of the scriptures for the first time. I'm thinking of a city right on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, a city called Newry. It's in the northern side, but it has more of a southern culture. We've been reaching out to a lot of kids there in recent times. We got a kids club going there. It's called. We started off with some fitness. It's called the Kids Gym, and then we began to introduce the children to the gospel. And we distributed Bibles to these kids, age-appropriate study Bibles, just in this past year. And for 50 out of the 60 kids, it was the first ever Bible they received.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that awesome? Isn't that amazing to be able to be engaged in that sort of work? So we're taking the Word of God, the gospel of Jesus, right into the heart of all communities. And it's
awesome.
There's nothing quite like it, seeing gospel transformation come into people's lives.
I remember coming to visit you on the very first day when we went out to eat. I remember the waitress there. You started to talk to her, or she kind of overheard some of our conversation, and she asked you about it, and you said, "Yes, I'm a church planter." And her first question was, "Are you Catholic or are you Protestant?"
Yeah. So you witnessed it.
I witnessed this happen, and your response to her was, "We're a church for Jesus." It's exactly what you just said. And I remember seeing this dumbfounded look on her face, like, "What do you mean?" And you just repeated yourself, "We're a church for Jesus."
Yeah.
And as she's navigating, wait a second, I have no box to fit this in, but we're focusing on the real thing. We're focusing on Jesus.
Yeah.
And she just took this sigh of relief, and she looks at you and she goes, "That is so refreshing." And so now I'm bought in, and I had to ask her, "What do you mean by that?" And she starts explaining how, and she may have been like mid-20s.
That's what I mean. When we were there and we're walking through Newry, that's what I mean. There's such
refreshing.
Yes, there's such a.
And she explained that for her, she's grown up in this environment where there's these tensions, and sure, the 30 years of troubles are over by definition. Yet you feel these after effects, these ripples throughout the culture, and there's these tensions.
Just because the nightmare ends doesn't mean we don't need to point to hope. Like, just because the nightmare is over, people are still stuck in the after effects of the nightmare. I mean, that's just the world in general that where sin runs rampant, and so it's so necessary for us to point to hope. And
and in those inner city areas of Belfast, I mean, you guys have been there. You put your feet on the soil. You see those 60 feet fencing separating the communities. I mean, there's a lot of hurt and pain in those communities. It's only Jesus who can unravel all that.
That's right.
It's only Jesus who can bring true healing, true transformation, and true reconciliation.
I'd love to hear some stories of some of that transformation and reconciliation that you've seen. And I remember you told us about, right before we came there, you told us about this man who crossed the street for the first time.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling that story?
Yeah, well, in inner city Belfast, the city's still very divided, still very segregated. Like, you call them housing projects. We've got a lot of those in the inner city. We call them housing estates. Maybe areas where there's 3,000-4,000 people living in the one community at one side of the road.
Yeah.
And at the other side of the road, another 3,000-4,000 people living at that side of one side, all Protestant British, the other side, all Irish Catholic.
But
I mean, they have separate schools.
There's not a big interstate in between.
That's right. I mean, you're talking.
It's just a street.
It's
a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Like, it's right there.
So we have people who have lived in their community all these years, especially during the Troubles, the 30-year war from 1968 to 1998. By the way, Belfast is a very safe city now, because I know we're planning to lead a team from Manna. We want to let people know
that's right.
and they're going to be safe. But the old divisions still remain.
Right.
You know, and in these communities, during the war, people didn't leave their community. You know, they were too fearful. And we've discovered people, I mean, a large percentage of the people have never been across the road to the other side. I mean, this is like...
Why?
For fear, a lot of trauma. Also, in some cases, There's in some cases there's bitterness for what happened in the past.
Are you saying that
crazy.
they're literally fearful for their lives, that if they get on the wrong side of the street that they could?
Well, I think now that the violence has ended, I think people know if they cross the road, I mean, they wouldn't be killed. But it's more, a lot of it has to do with trauma. A lot of it has to do with, would they be accepted if they cross the road?
I was struck by the number of times we would converse with people, and it seems as if there's no one untouched. Somebody has someone, or they're related to someone. Everyone has someone, it seems as if, that was touched by
My
it.
uncle, my dad.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So
Everyone's got that.
When people come to Belfast, they see the murals and all the memorial gardens. And to them, it feels like this war maybe ended like 6 months ago, you know? And people would often say to me, you know, why don't they just move on from this?
Yeah.
But it's a different matter when it comes to your door.
Yeah, right.
It's a different matter when it's your father, your mother, your grandfather, your uncle.
That's right.
I mean, there were so many young children killed during the 30-year war too. I mean, I'm even bringing it back to my own family. My wife, Catherine, she had an aunt that was in a bomb on a well-known road in Belfast called the Shankill Road. It's a Protestant area of Belfast. She was out shopping one Saturday afternoon with her 2 grandchildren. She was just in a fresh fish shop buying some fish, and there were 2 IRA men came across from the other side of the city. They entered the fresh fish shop with a tray that looked like there were fish in there. But there were bombs in there, and as one of the IRA members set the tray down, the bomb exploded. I think there were 9 people killed that day, including some children, and many people injured. And my wife's aunt, her name is Kate, she was in that bomb. She survived. She remembers pulling her grandchild from the rubble.
Wow.
She thought he was dead. Her life was never the same again after that. I think it, led to the early onset of Alzheimer's and all sorts of trauma. I mean, if she was out in the public space and she heard a door closing, So, I mean, it's very difficult for people to move on when it's touched them deeply.
And you talked about the murals that you see all throughout Belfast, but there's also memorials.
Yeah.
There are memorial sites that with pictures and stories. You took us to one of them.
Yes.
And I mean, to this day, this is something that the community still feels in a very real way.
Yeah, on both sides, on both the Protestant and Catholic side, there's these little memorial gardens. The people in those communities, it's important to them to remember those who gave their lives for a cause that they believe in. Obviously, there's strong disagreement on both sides. But that's the context that we're seeking to bring the gospel of hope right into.
Absolutely.
Connecting with both sides of the community. And one of the ways that we're currently doing that is, just seeking out the favor of influential community leaders. I mean, you can't just go into these inner city areas and just say, oh, we're going to do our gospel work. We're going to reach the kids. We're going to reach the youth. I mean, you might receive a knock on the door to say, hey, time to go. So you got to be smart the way you go about that. You got to show these community leaders that you care. You care about their communities.
This is, if I could put in a plug for short-term missions. This is why I think it's so powerful to see your faith, the faith that connects us in different contexts. Because I think that there are things that we Americans could learn about work that they're doing in Belfast with what he just said. Two sides of the same coin. Looking at people hurt, experiencing pain on either side. And Jesus and the love of Jesus cutting right through the middle to go, no. Your hope is in something higher than this sort of. I mean, I'm not trying to overstate the Irish condition, but at the end of the day, people are fighting for earthly power when it is the submission to Jesus as King that cuts across all the rest of this earthly stuff. Yeah. And so I think it's real important to be in relationship with people like Gary, people that are doing this around, and to send teams so they can get a real finger on the pulse of. I see what this looks like played out.
I mean, I enjoyed the conversation earlier when we talked about, the impact of short-term missions. And one of the values that we have, we currently keep our short-term teams to 8 people. And there's a reason for that. by the end of the trip, we want to know everyone's name. We want to know their testimony. We want to know about their family. We want to know about their story, their journey that they're on. And when they're getting on that plane, as much as they're a blessing to us, and by the way, Americans open incredible doors in Ireland. Our teams coming across have given us access into some of the most difficult regions.
Oh, man.
Because when you go you go to the community leaders and you say to them, hey, we have a team coming the whole way from Fayetteville, North Carolina to visit your community. Now, these aren't tourist communities. These are inner city communities, the real deal. Well, they fling the doors open wide, and they love to receive teams.
that's
And
cool.
when the team leaves, the way is open for us. You know, so we love that. We love that about short-term teams. But we want to invest in each short-term team member.
That's cool.
As much as they're there to bless us, we want to send them back to their local church.
Good.
Well,
Because for many people, we take them out onto the street and do street evangelism. For many people, it's the first time they've ever done that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and it reminds me, I mean, this is what we were just talking about, where, yes, we want to see converts. Yes, we want to see people give their lives to Jesus, follow Jesus. Also, we need to connect them to the local church. They got to be in community. That's where discipleship happens. That go make disciples.
Yep.
And so I love hearing you say that, yes, when Americans come, they open the door, but when they leave, the door is still open for you guys, because that's where the discipleship's going to happen.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for. That's awesome. But you were also talking about the need for restoration, and it just made me think we all need restoration. All of us need restoration. It starts with being restored between us and the Father, and that's why He sent His Son Jesus. So that's the good news. We all have to experience that reconciliation, restoration with Him. But then we got to be reconciled with one another. So it starts with Him, but at the foot of the cross, we're able to be reconciled with one another, and that's part of what you're describing in all of this. We're pointing to Jesus, but we're also being reconciled with one another, north and south, whatever that may look like.
Yes.
Do you have any stories of reconciliation where you've seen some of those milestones accomplished in someone's life, or a win?
Well, I bring it right back again to my own family personally. I know the folks here at Manna have heard some stories about my big brother Tommy, and the guys here got to meet him recently.
right.
And he's much bigger in person
Yeah,
than he
he
is
earned
in
it.
pictures.
I mean, those shoulders, right?
He's a
he was a
fully
great-
formed lad.
He was a great big brother to have at high school. Let's put it that way.
Very good.
You know, yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, he was on the Protestant side. He grew up. He was very staunch. You know, he was defending his community, defending his cause. And on the Catholic side, there was another guy called Davy, and Davy was very staunch on the Irish Catholic side. You know, defending his community, loyal to his community. And these two guys would have never met. But just in the last 5 years, two of the most unlikely people for salvation. I say the most unlikely. That's what Jesus does, right?
Sure.
But
Right.
you know what I mean in human form.
Yeah.
You look at these guys and you say, could they really? You know, you're praying, but could they really? And just in close proximity, time-wise to each other, Tommy surrendered his life to Jesus. Davy surrendered his life to Jesus. They both got baptized, and now they're best of friends.
Wow.
They study the scriptures together. They pray together. They call one another on the phone regularly.
That's awesome.
And I mean, when you see that, the reality of that, and the power of the gospel to transform people's lives, that's just one little snippet. And that's what we're seeking to achieve right across the entire city, not only the city of Belfast, but the entire island of Ireland.
I was struck when I met Tommy. I've seen pictures. I've heard all the stories. He's a big, tough fella. Scars, you know, he's a big, tough fella. And there's a tenderness to Tommy.
Yeah.
And a caring, and all the things that he used to defend his community, he surrendered to Jesus, and then all of a sudden those strengths have become like super strengths. I mean, I was shocked walking around Belfast with him. Just his kind and seemingly unaffected, just an amazing testimony of the gospel. Like, you think
Absolutely.
you think that the gospel works everywhere, always.
That's right.
Always.
That's
everywhere.
Right. Now, you've got some big things going on downtown Belfast. Are you able to tell us about some of the things you're
Absolutely.
working on and
Yeah.
what you're accomplishing?
Yeah, we're partnering with lots of church plants. church planters all across the island of Ireland. We're working across different streams, denominations. I planted and led a church for 10 years in Northern Ireland, turned that over to another pastor. We're getting ready to plant another church. And the strategy that we're using is first of all, we're planting what we're calling a community project. That is a project that can help us build relationships with people, because Irish people are very relational, with the view to sharing the gospel with them. So this church plant is going to be the engine, if you like, of Ireland for Jesus, a hub that where we can even send people out from, church planters, disciple them, train them up, send them out right across the island. So we are opening a branded and vintage clothing store.
Okay.
So this is all targeted toward college-age students, young adults, and we're connecting a coffee shop to it. And it's a resale type model.
Like a secondhand clothing sort of thing?
Gently used clothing. I actually got the idea here in the States. I'd never been in a Plato's Closet. So last year I was in the States and my daughter took me in there and
That's right, you were here for Rock.
I saw all the young adults in there and I'm like, hey, this could actually be a gospel opportunity, a church planting project, and coming up with innovative, creative ways of engaging people who are far from church. That's our passion. That's my background. So we're setting it up there right in the heart of one of Belfast's premium clothing retail areas. And we're launching in March next year, so it's coming up quickly.
March 2026.
2026, we're fitting the store out. Even as I'm sitting here now, there's work going on in the store, putting in there a high-quality coffee shop, getting all the clothing in place, all the signage and the branding. And when people enter that store, it'll have a feel of a high street store.
Okay.
And when they're in there, we're creating a gospel culture in an appropriate way. We're actually seeking to create a culture of intrigue, the way we're setting it up.
Where they would ask you a question?
Yeah. So, for example, C.S. Lewis, for those of you who don't know, was born in Belfast.
That's right.
And to paraphrase one of his famous quotations, it goes something like this: if there is a desire within you that this world can't meet, it is evidence that you were created for another world. So
I love that. It's so good.
So putting quotations like that up on the
Clive.
wall, people sitting drinking their coffee, reading that, and training our staff to love people well. And so then, as we begin to build relationships, everyone who comes into either buy a piece of clothing, to buy a coffee, we'll give them an invitation to Alpha, which is an 8-week introduction to the Christian faith. Who is God? What is the Bible?
It's a discipleship course.
It's a discipleship course. Yeah,
we're making disciples.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. So, and in the space, we'll have live music nights. Stories of faith.
Yeah.
We're going to lead many, many people to Jesus.
Okay, so maybe give me the inside scoop. I know we just have a couple 100,000 people watching right now, but give me the inside scoop. When we bring a team to visit you, is this the type of stuff we're going to be working with?
Yeah, I would love you to come and engage in some of the evenings that we put on in that space. Getting alongside the locals. They're going to be intrigued as to why you're there.
Sure.
Why have you come the way from the USA?
We're going to strike up some conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gary has an amazing idea for a line of hats, and he wants you to come and monitor.
Hey, I'm your guy. I'm your guy for hats.
Well, yeah, if it leads people to Jesus, bring it on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So and this new center that we're establishing is not only a come and see. We want this to be a go and tell center as well. We want it to be a space where on our top floor, where we have an area where we're making up gift bags and food parcels, things that we can take out onto the streets, into the heart of the city.
Yeah.
Into those areas that we've been talking about earlier on. So we'll be taking the teams out onto the streets, engaging with people on the Catholic side, engaging with people on the Protestant side.
That's right.
Bringing the hope of Jesus to the city of Belfast and also to the entire island.
Hope across the nation.
Yeah, amen.
Come on, man. That is exciting. I'm so excited to hear you talk about this, but I'm also excited to come visit you.
I hear you're leading the team.
I am leading the team, so I'm really stoked about this. How can people pray for you? You're in the midst of all of this right now. You haven't even opened it yet.
Yeah.
How can people pray for you right now?
Well, we've actually been talking a little bit even before we came on here today, just about the importance of people interceding for us. We're right in the front line of the battle. you know, and the enemy doesn't like this, what's happening. We're taking territory for Jesus.
Yeah.
And we're just asking people to cover us in prayer and that we might know the protection of the Lord. And really that we might know courage to go, just courage to go. Ireland is wide open for the gospel, and it's a case of who's going to get there first. And so we are working hard at the moment of seeking to set up ministry training opportunities for young leaders.
Yeah.
If people could pray for us around that, just wisdom, strategy, and but just a passion to see the whole island won for Jesus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I get newsletters from you every month.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the updates, and it reminds me to pray for you. And every once in a while, I'll send you a text.
Absolutely.
Just to say, hello or whatever. But if people want to get on board with those newsletters, or if they just want to learn more about Ireland for Jesus, where should they go?
Yeah, go to our website, irelandforjesus.com. There you'll read a little bit about the history of the ministry, how it came about, a little bit about our vision. There's a few little videos on there as well. And drop us a message and we'll get you connected in.
That's it, man. Awesome. Well, Jordan, I want to come back to you for a minute because we're alluding to this over here that we're going to take a short-term mission trip to Ireland. That's not the only place we're going to go. Can you give us the inside scoop? What are some places we're going to be going next year?
So the full roster of short-term missions we'll be doing in 2026 will go live on Thursday the 20th. So come to Rock opening night.
Yeah.
And you'll find out everything. But
that's right.
To give you a little teaser, we are going to Ireland. We're partnering with Pro-M Church in Poland for our second short-term mission there.
Hey.
We are going back to Central and South America with Filter of Hope to include in a new country that I'm not going to share here. You'll have to find out on the 20th.
The suspense, huh?
Going back to LADC. Yeah, so very excited.
And I will be leading a prayer surfing trip to Manna Church, Hawaii.
There you go.
That was a joke
I made that up.
for the trolls in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll go if you'll send me.
A lot of
right.
exciting places.
What are some of those Central and South American countries?
Yeah, we are going back to Colombia. We are going to Panama.
My daughter wants to go on that one.
And then Guatemala, and then some other places.
He
Some
won't
other
say
places.
it.
I was trying to fish it out of him a little bit. Not going to do it. Yeah. I'll join you on that one.
Nope. We vote no. Stop recording. Tell us
All
now.
right. If people want to get on one of these trips, what is the process? What do they need to do? And what are some of the heads up you want to give them?
Absolutely. So you got to be a believer first and foremost. Active member of Manna Church. Got to be a member. Have to have completed Next Step. And then you can apply online if you've done all those things, and then you'll just do an interview with the team lead. They'll make sure that you're physically fit. 'Cause some of these contexts are pretty challenging. So, for instance, we had a team this year in the mountains of Peru. The elevation was 1,100 feet. Oof. It's like some of these trips, not everything is for everyone. Yeah.
Mount Mitchell in North Carolina is higher than that, right?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
1,100 feet.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11,000 feet.
Okay, see, there's a big difference.
There we go. Thank you. Good correction.
Yeah,
There's a big difference between 1,100 and 11,000.
Good catch.
Okay. Yeah, 11,000 feet. That's pretty high up there.
All that
Somebody's
aside,
math wasn't mathing, and I didn't know whose, but
it was mine.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. And until next time, change the world.
Get out of here. Okay, but they need to have their passport. Simple things like this.
Gotta have your passport if you're going overseas. Yeah. As far as like what it takes to accomplish the mission on each of those trips, though, to anyone who's experiencing any uncertainty, fear, anxiety, we will train you. We will prepare you. We are very deliberate about making sure that people are equipped and ready before we send them.
We got you.
In fact, so many people have described throughout the process of after they signed up for a mission trip, after they already sent in their application, and before they leave for the trip. In that span of time, so much discipleship, so much training has happened that they feel more confident about sharing their faith. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're going to hear more of those stories. So I already plugged Rock opening night, but finale night, Sunday evening, we're going to hear a lot of those testimonies on our short-term missions panel.
High five.
Look at that. Okay, how do people apply?
For short-term missions?
Yes.
The page will be active on our app, web,
But not yet.
and the Rock webbook, on November 20th. Yeah, Thursday.
November 20th.
Yeah.
We're not twisting your arm to come be a part of the Rock, but we're certainly not letting you get at the
But you're
stuff.
not going to find out before. Yeah.
Sorry.
You got to come.
Yep.
All right. Good deal. Last question, Pastor Chris. This is for you. Throughout the series, we're talking about how to pray,
Yep.
how to give,
Yep.
and how to go.
Yep.
Can you break those down for us?
Sure can.
And even for the people who don't live here, who knows where they're watching, how
Great.
can they apply this wherever
Yep.
they're living?
Absolutely. I think that prayer is, if the advance of the kingdom across the planet does not affect your prayer list, then I would encourage you to expand your prayer list. I think that if every believer has a go, this should impact us in 3 ways. Always, it should impact my prayer. Intercession and intercessory prayer and interceding on behalf of others who are doing the work is not just something we throw up. Like, I don't pray for Gary when Gary texts and goes, "It's all falling apart. What else do we have left to do? I guess we'll pray." No, that's the first thing we do before we establish anything. We pray. So I think that we need to do the work in the spiritual realms to prepare the ground to sow the seed, prayer. At the same time, there's giving. Connect to a local church, tithe to the local church, and give to the advance of the kingdom. Period. Like at the end of the day, the gospel's free. Spreading it's not. Impact will always cost money. None of these things happen for free. You don't just walk into Ireland, start knocking on doors, and going, "Hey, we want to do some free events and stuff." It doesn't happen. So the way that this works is, the Lord blesses you, gives you money, you tithe, and then you give in addition to that, and then go. People overcook this. Go doesn't mean that I need to sell all that I've got and hop on a plane and go fly to some foreign country and live there. If God's called you to do that, do that. But otherwise, go. The way I described it on Sunday was, if your bum, whether your bum is physically or metaphorically glued to your couch, get off thy bum, go outside thy door, and find a way in the name of Jesus to do good.
Was that the King James version?
That was Proverbs 32. Yeah, the version that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, that was the one that Solomon, Hezekiah and his scribes were like, "Best leave this one on the cutting room floor."
Hezekiah had quite the accent.
He did.
Yeah. He was a Jerusalemite. Had a bit of
Liverpool.
Liverpool would be a little. We'd go a little more north for Liverpool. Not north, but to the coast for Liverpool.
Gary could probably do it.
There you go.
Now we'll just move on.
Best keep going.
That's right.
Gary's the appropriate football. If there's going to be a football fan in Liverpool, Gary is the appropriate. He's the blue half.
Yep.
It's me and my United brethren can't handle the red half. It's the Reds. We can't
Come on,
deal with.
come on, the Toffees.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I want to tell you again, if you want to get more information about Ireland for Jesus, go to IrelandForJesus.com. Pastor Chris, do you mind praying for Pastor Gary?
Absolutely. Father, thank you so much for Gary. Thank you for Ireland for Jesus. Thank you for their heart for the country and the region. And Lord, I just pray for a blessing and protection and provision to be poured out on Ireland for Jesus. I pray that as Gary leads this movement forward, Lord, that your kingdom would come and your will be done, and the kingdom would advance everywhere the sole of their foot treads. So, Lord, I pray that you would bless them, keep them. Pray that your face would shine upon them. You be gracious to them, lift your countenance upon them, and give them peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Chris. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Appreciate
What
you
a
being
pleasure
here.
having you.
Hey, next week, you don't want to miss our episode. We've got 2 more ministry partners we're going to have on the show. We have Pastor Rafal from Pro-M, that is from Poland.
Yikes.
And then we've also got Agape International Missions, otherwise known as AIM. We've got Clayton. He is the CEO of AIM, and he'll be with us.
Clayton's going to be on the show?
That's right.
Oh, buckle up.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we love you guys. God bless you, and may God be with you everywhere you go. May you pray, may you give, may you go. And until next time, let's change the world. Check out our website, manna.church, to find ways you can get connected with our services, small groups, outreaches, and more.